Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is Explanation of Battle Through the Heavens episode number 165 based on novel. So let's start. A space in the sky distorted. After which, an elderly figure appeared in front of many people's eyes. This figure raised his arm the moment he appeared. Two majestic Do-Chi pillars that contained a powerful lightning glow explosively shot toward the Jiyu Qian duo below. Jiyu Qian and Jiyu Shu were extremely furious when they saw this figure attacking as he pleased. Before they could curse out loud, they hurriedly pulled back while wearing ugly expressions. The two vast lightning glows shot through the sky like a meteorites. However, before they could strike the bodies of the duo, an invisible force suddenly spread. This force coincidentally received the two lightning glows. "Why is it you?" Xiao Yang looked at the elderly figure descending from the sky. He was stunned when he saw that somewhat familiar face because he had discovered that the old man who had intervened and aided him was actually that mysterious old man he had met at the Empty Realm lightning pool. The one that was always saying, "Is this right?" An exclamation was involuntarily emitted from his mouth. Your head. Do you know how to be polite? Call me headmaster." That elder with the surname Mang blew at his beard and chided when he heard Xiao Yang's exclamation. Headmaster? Xiao Yang's eyes were a little at a loss. A moment later, he finally recovered. He was stunned as he watched the elder with the surname Mang in front of him. You are the headmaster of the Jiunan Academy? What nonsense. Other than the old me, who is called Mang Tian Kai, who would dare call himself this? The old man's beard rose a little. He smiled as he observed Xiao Yang. After which, he extended his hand and pinched him. Only then did he laugh. Not bad, not bad. That fellow Su Qian did not lie to me. He has finally taught a student who appears acceptable. The corner of Xiao Yang's mouth twitched. He looked at the smiling old man in front of him. For a moment, he found it difficult to connect this person to the extremely mysterious inner academy headmaster of the Jiunan Academy. "I actually failed to recognize you when we met last. After returning and thinking about it for a couple of days, I finally remembered that you are the Xiao Yang. That fellow Su Qian repeatedly told me about you through his messages." Mang Tian Kai patted Xiao Yang's chest. He appeared extremely righteous as he said, "You can rest assured. Since you are a student of the Jiunan Academy and a student who meets the strict standards of the old me will protect you if any problems occur in the future." Xiao Yang bitterly smiled. This old fellow really did not appear like a mysterious headmaster. Instead, he was like an old bandit who had just barged out of a bandit's nest. "Thank you, old Mr. Mang." Zun by the side also recovered from her shock as she spoke with a smile. "It's a small matter." Mang Tian Kai randomly waved his hand. After which, his eyes roamed over Zun and Xiao Yang. He said with a strange smile, "I was wondering why they have been making things difficult for a member of the younger generation like you. You have actually grasped the most outstanding flower of the Jiyu clan." Xiao Yang's face was a little green when he heard these words. Zun's face by the side also flushed a bright red. "Old Mr. Mang, this is not the Lei clan." The Jiyu Qian duo, who had been forced back by the lightning glow earlier, stepped forward with furious expressions. Jiyu Qian spoke with a deep voice at this moment. Mang Tian Kai glanced at the two of them, but he ignored them. His eyes shifted to an area of empty space as he said, "Old Demon Shan, you should stop favoring these two old fellows. Ordering a person to cause trouble for a member of the younger generation clearly shows that you are a little too narrow-minded. Jiyu Qian, Jiyu Shu, withdraw." The empty space fluctuated slightly and a black-robed white-haired old man appeared in a strange manner. He descended from the sky. He cupped his hands to the cold-faced Zun before looking at Mang Tian Kai. He sighed somewhat helplessly and said, "Old fellow, since you wish to step forward, I shall give you face this time around." This white-haired old man swung his sleeves after uttering these words before walking to some seats a short distance away. He had never once glanced at Xiao Yang throughout the entire exchange. Kai, still acting cool for the old me, Mang Tian Kai curled his lips when he saw the back of the white-haired old man. After which, his eyes landed on Xiao Yang. He wanted to say something, but merely patted his back in the end. He said, "Little fellow, you are quite bold. You obviously know that someone in the Jiyu clan will find fault with you, yet you dared to come here. However, you can rest assured. Su Qian has sent me a couple of messages. All of the messages have requested me to take good care of you should I meet you. Those old fellows from the Jiyu clan will still give me face here. However, you should understand that you will have to rely on yourself if you wish to truly get those old fellows to see you in a different light. Thank you for your reminder, headmaster." Xiao Yang cupped his hands and sincerely replied. He was able to hear a concerned tone in Mang Tian Kai's words. "Let's go," Mang Tian Kai smiled. After which, he turned around and walked to some seats in one corner. Xiao Yang hesitated for a moment before leading the little fairy doctors group, who also wore ugly expressions. Finally, they sat in the seats beside Mang Tian Kai. That old man from earlier is called Jiyu Shan. He is one of the extremely experienced elders within the Jiyu clan. His strength is also quite great, and he possesses some influence within the Jiyu clan. Moreover, he is also one of those who resolutely objects our relationship. Zana softly explained after they took their seats. Xiao Yang quietly nodded. He could sense just how frightening Jiyu Shan was. It was likely that he was at least at the peak of the Do Zun class. The number of experts within this Jiyu clan had indeed reached quite a frightening level. While Xiao Yang was softly chatting with Zun his eyes had swept over this special area. Those who could enter this place were renowned people from the Jiyu clan. However, Xiao Yang saw some familiar faces among these people. They were Huoxian's group. Huoxian had chatted with him on the boat. When Xiao Yang looked at them, Huoxian also smiled and nodded at him. Xiao Yang returned a smile to Huoxian. After which, he glanced at the left side of the stage. A group of people were clustered there. Most of these people were from the younger generation of the Jiyu clan. Xiao Yang saw Jiyu Zhen, Lin Xiu, Ling Quan, and a couple of black submerged army commanders there. At this moment, the eyes of the few of them were staring at him in a gloating manner. Such an expression in their eyes caused Xiao Yang to slightly frown. He had just withdrew his eyes when they suddenly gathered on a corner at the front. A figure with a sharp murderous aura was seated at that spot. This person had black and white hair. The aura all over his body was as cold as 10,000-year-old mysterious ice. One felt a chill over one's entire body when one looked at him. Xiao Yang's eyes were grave as he studied this statue-like back. He could sense a wave of familiar killing desire slowly spreading from the body of this person. Moreover, the target of this killing intent was him. Devil General, Jiyu Yao. Xiao Yang slowly exhaled a breath of air. The fist under his sleeve suddenly tightened. Such a killing intent was the same as the one he had sensed yesterday. Clearly, this should be that Devil General, whom Zuna had said was a great threat to him. As the target of this wave of killing intent, it was obvious that Xiao Yang's every action had been absorbed by Jiyu Yao ever since Xiao Yang had arrived. Xiao Yang's act of staring at Jiyu Yao was probably being sensed by him. This person will be a strong opponent. A solemnness flashed across Xiao Yang's eyes. The most troublesome opponent of the same generation of Xiao Yang was likely this so-called Devil General. Xiao Yang Jiji, be careful of him. Zuna also sensed when Xiao Yang had stared at the ice-cold back. She clenched her hand. A chill flashed across her pretty eyes as she softly spoke. Xiao Yang slowly nodded. Additionally, the heavenly tomb will open soon after the adult ceremony is completed. You can enter that place with your qualification. However, some elders will obstruct you. Zuna frowned as she spoke. You can relax. I will help speak up for this little fellow when the time comes. It is likely that those old fellows from your clan will not make things overly difficult for him on account of my old face. Mang Tian Kai at the front stretched his lazy waist as he spoke. In that case, I will thank old Mr. Mang. Zuna immediately laughed when she heard his words. Won't you purposefully speak for the old me to hear? Little girl, you are trying to pull some schemes in front of the old me. Mang Tian Kai rolled his eyes as he replied. Zuna smiled but did not refute the claim. It would be a little too wasteful if one did not use such a good bargaining chip. However, Xiao Yang must successfully pass this test if he wishes to enter the heavenly tomb. You should be aware of what I am talking about. Mang Tian Kai turned his head to glance at Xiao Yang. After which, his chin was lifted to ice-cold back in front. He softly said, as long as you are able to last 100 exchanges in the hands of that fellow without being defeated, that will be enough to silence some old fellows. The matter of entering the heavenly tomb will also be much easier then. 100 exchanges? Xiao Yang was slightly startled, but he did not say anything. The fist under his sleeve was gently clenched. This was not the result that he needed. An ancient gong sound suddenly rang around this stadium when Xiao Yang clenched his fist. The gong sound spread in a mighty manner. It spread over this spacious mountain range. Time's up. Let the ceremony begin. After the gong sound appeared, a calm voice filled with a great might was suddenly emitted from empty space. That voice contained a frightening pressure that caused quite a number of people in the stadium to gently inhale a breath of cool air. A Do Sheng, a genuine Do Sheng. A shocked expression appeared in Xiao Yang's eyes as he sensed the pressure that originated from deep within his soul. This was the first time that he had sensed a genuine Do Sheng pressure. After the vast and mighty voice sounded, 3 Jiyu clan elders with extremely formal clothes stood up from their seats a short distance away with stern expressions. After which, they entered the stadium. At this moment, there were many tools present at that place. The adult ceremony of the Jiyu clan was quite complicated because one was only considered fully grown after one had undergone the adult ceremony of the Jiyu clan. The younger generation could only be considered a part of the core of the clan after the adult ceremony. Even marriages could only be conducted after one completed the adult ceremony. The true experts from the Jiyu clan have yet to show themselves. Xiao Yang's eyes swept around this special area. Other than a small number of elders from the Jiyu clan, he did not see anyone on the level of the clan head of the Jiyu clan. Clearly, these important people would not reveal themselves even at such a moment. However, he wondered who that voice belonged to since it contained a Dosheng's pressure. Although they do not show themselves, there is some vague auras present here. It seems that these important people are observing events despite not showing themselves. Through his sharp spiritual perception, Xiao Yang probed for a moment before discovering strange fluctuations in the sky. His heart felt a sudden understanding at this moment. The ceremony will begin. Ling Quan. The three elders from the Jiyu clan on the square completed their preparations while Xiao Yang was quietly thinking to himself. After which, they followed the list of names and read the first name, which Xiao Yang was extremely familiar with. Ling Quan hurriedly stood up when he heard the cry of the three elders. His body moved and he rushed into the square with high spirits. He bowed respectfully to the three elders. There was naturally quite a number of young people within the Jiyu clan who had become adults. However, those who could have their adult ceremony conducted in such a place were in the minority, and these people were undoubtedly the top among the younger generation of the Jiyu clan. Hence, it was little wonder that some pride filled Ling Quan's face. A stern-looking elder from the Jiyu clan clenched his hand while standing on the square. A 10-foot large star disk appeared in front of him. Ling Quan quickly stepped forward, and his hand touched the star disk as he shut his eyes. After Ling Quan shut his eyes, a powerful glow was suddenly emitted from the star disk. 6 stars slowly appeared on it. The elder from the Jiyu clan nodded his head when he saw these 6 stars. After which, he cried out loud, Ling Quan, Black Submerged Army 7th Commander, 1-star Dozun Strength, Grade 6 Bloodline. After a discussion at the Elders' Council, he is bestowed with the Gold Clan Tattoo. It will be the Gold Clan Tattoo. He is indeed worthy of being the 7th Commander. The Jiyu clan members in the stadium immediately emitted some envious voices when they heard the cry that came from the elder's mouth. Joy flashed across Ling Quan's eyes when he heard this. He knelt with one knee on the ground and raised his head. An elder held a flickering golden pen. His hand danced and formed numerous after-images. A mysterious symbol appeared on Ling Quan's forehead and a golden light shot out, emitting a special energy fluctuation. Grade 6 Bloodline? Gold Clan Tattoo? What are these things? Xiao Yang was extremely unfamiliar with these things. He immediately frowned and asked Zun Er. The bloodline of the Jiyu clan is separated into 10 different grades. Grade 1 is the lowest while Grade 10 is the highest. Normally speaking, only those whose bloodline has reached Grade 4 and above have the qualification to participate in the adult ceremony. It is not bad for Ling Quan to reach the 6th grade, Zun Er smiled and explained. As for this Gold Clan Tattoo, it is the evaluation that is given after summarizing all the various conditions. This kind of clan tattoo has been inherited by the Jiyu clan since the ancient times. During a critical moment, it will enable the bloodline strength within the body of a member of the Jiyu clan to temporarily soar and enable them to escape danger. This clan tattoo is divided into 4 levels: silver, gold, purple gold, rainbow gold. They are differentiated by colors. This clan tattoo of Ling Quan is the 3rd gold clan tattoo. This clan tattoo actually possesses such a mysterious effect. Surprise flashed across Xiao Yang's eyes as he questioned. It is rumored that the ancestor of the Jiyu clan, who is that existence who had reached the Do Di class, created it. After obtaining the clan tattoo, one requires a month in order to unleash its ability. Zun Er smiled as she spoke. Xiao Yang nodded. He had merely thought that this was a formal ceremony of the Jiyu clan. It was unexpected that it actually possessed such a benefit. No wonder these fellows viewed the adult ceremony so seriously. It seemed that the reason was because of this clan tattoo. In that case, has Zun Er's bloodline reached the 10th grade? Is she able to obtain a rainbow gold clan tattoo? Xiao Yang laughed. I never took the test after leaving my retreat the last time around. However, the 10th grade bloodline is also called the divine bloodline. It has never appeared within the Jiyu clan after 1,000 years. Zun Er is afraid that she will not be able to reach that stage. As for the rainbow gold clan tattoo, there is likely only one person within the current clan who has it. It has been shelved high above. It has been a long time since someone has reached the qualifications. Zun Er shook her head as she responded. According to the calculations of the Jiyu clan bloodline, as long as one is able to reach the grade 9 bloodline, one has the potential of advancing to the Doshun class. As for the divine bloodline, perhaps that potential will enable her to reach the peak of the Doshun class. Of course, I think that this will also be quite difficult. It has been many years since the divine bloodline has appeared. Mang Tian Kai in front turned his head and laughed. Xiao Yang was quietly speechless. The foundation of the Jiyu clan was indeed frightening. Next, Lin Xiu. While Xiao Yang and Zun Er were chatting, another cry had once again sounded. Lin Xiu immediately stood up. He bolted down with an excited face. after which, he followed steps that Ling Quan had taken earlier. However, only 6 stars appeared on the star disk. Lin Xiu, second commander of the Black Submerged Army. 5-star Do Zun. Grade 6 bloodline. Bestow the gold clan tattoo. When Xiao Yang saw that this 5-star Do Zun, Lin Xiu, was only able to obtain the gold clan tattoo, he sensed that it was difficult to leap over the different clan tattoo levels. One's strength was not the main factor. The most important was the grade of their bloodline. Although the both of them had obtained gold clan tattoos, the golden color on Lin Xiu's forehead was brighter than Ling Quan's color. Perhaps this slight difference was because of their different strengths. Next, after Ling Quan and Lin Xiu, members of the younger generation from the Jiyu clan, who were quite strong, continued appearing one after another. However, there was ultimately no one whose bloodline had exceeded the 6th grade. Xiao Yang began to understand that the bloodline grade within the Jiyu clan was difficult to strengthen. Jiyu Zhen, first commander of the Black Submerged Army, 7-star Do Zun, grade 7 bloodline strength, bestow. While Xiao Yang was feeling a little impatient because of the long process, he suddenly stilled a little because of the voice that was transmitted from the square. Jiyu Zhen. Xiao Yang's heart pounded when he heard this name. He lifted his head, and his eyes looked to the square. He saw that Jiyu Zhen was kneeling with one knee on the ground. His face was calm as he looked at the 3 elders, who were softly discussing something. Everyone on the square began to look at each other when they saw the 3 elders beginning to discuss something. Their eyes gathered on Jiyu Zhen. It seemed that this fellow was a little different to the others before him. The 3 elders in the square chatted for a moment before they finally stopped. One of the elders clenched his hand and a purple gold pen appeared. It is actually the purple gold dragon pen. Numerous exclamations immediately rang out within the stadium when they saw the purple gold pen in the elder's hand. After the Elder Council's discussion, Jiyu Zhen has extraordinary battle credits and a calm character. Hence, he will be bestowed with the purple gold clan tattoo. The stern-looking elder cried out in a deep voice. The energy in his palm surged and activated the purple gold pen. He swiftly left behind a purple gold clan tattoo on Jiyu Zhen's forehead. However, this purple gold color was a little pale, but that did not stop many envious gazes from appearing. Based on the bloodline grade, Jiyu Zhen has yet to reach the level of the purple gold clan tattoo. However, his reputation in the Black Submerged Army is very great. It can catch up with the 4 great generals. Hence, the Elder Council has made an exception. A soft voice sounded beside Xiao Yang's ear while he was observing Jiyu Zhen in the square. This voice was Zun explaining things to him. Xiao Yang nodded. He had made contact with Jiyu Zhen and was naturally aware that this person was indeed someone with an extremely calm character. If he was able to obtain a high position in the Jiyu clan in the future, his achievements would definitely be great. This Jiyu clan really has many experts. It is indeed worthy of being an ancient clan that has lasted a countless number of years. It is old but does not decline. Even though Jiyu Zhen had exceeded expectations and obtained the purple gold clan tattoo, his face did not reveal an overly strong fluctuation. He merely bowed in a respectful manner to the 3 elders. After which, he stood up. His body moved, and he returned to his seat in front of numerous envious gazes. His gaze shot to the spot where Xiao Yang was located when he sat down. After which, he nodded. Xiao Yang also returned a smile in the face of this friendlier action. He was just about to speak when he abruptly sensed that the temperature had suddenly turned icy cold. Xiao Yang slowly slid his eyes over because of this change in his surroundings. Finally, they stilled on the icy-cold back in front of him. At this moment, the demon general, who was one of the 4 great generals of the Jiyu clan, had quietly stood up in front of everyone present. However, he merely took 1 step at a time as he walked toward the square. Is it his turn? Xiao Yang's eyes narrowed when he sensed the surrounding environment, which had become quiet and icy-cold. He was extremely curious about this strong opponent of his. Just what level had he reached? Jiyu Yaro's expression was cold and indifferent as everyone's eyes gathered on him. His footsteps were gentle and slow as he gradually entered the square. After which, he bowed to the 3 elders. However, he did not kneel with 1 knee on the ground like Ling Quan, Jiyu Zhen, and the rest had done earlier. Instead, his body was straight, appearing like a long sharp spear with chilly air flowing from him. The 3 elders did not reveal any displeasure on their faces with Jiyu Yaro's actions. Although Jiyu Yaro's experience was not as great as them, his reputation within the Jiyu clan was extremely great. He was also in possession of an extraordinary strength. It was only natural that he did not kneel to them. They exchanged looks with each other and waved their sleeves. That 10-foot large star disk gently flew in front of Jiyu Yaro. Some light seeped out of it. It is your turn, Jiyu Yaro. Jiyu Yaro nodded with a calm expression when he heard this. After which, he slowly extended his hand in front of the many gazes and gently touched the star disk. There was a momentary silence after Jiyu Yaro's hand touched the star disk. A moment later, the star disk suddenly shook. Bright powerful light shot out of it. Numerous stars continued to appear on the star disk. 1, 2, 3, 8 stars. The stadium immediately uproared when everyone looked at the 8 stars that slowly appeared. Even some elders nodded their heads in amazement. Clearly, this test had satisfied them. He actually possesses a grade 8 bloodline. He is indeed worthy of being one of the 4 great generals. When young Miss took the test back then, it seems that she was only 8 stars, right? It is unexpected that General Gu Yarrow has actually caught up with young Miss. However, that test was a long time ago. Who knows just how much stronger the bloodline of young Miss has grown? The members of the Gu clan in the stadium were chatting with each other at this moment. Private conversations immediately spread. This fellow has indeed reached the 8th grade of the bloodline strength. Zuna looked at that figure in the square and softly sighed. Xiao Yang's expression did not change. His heart was a little shaken though. Compared to Gu Yarrow, Ling Quan, and Lin Xiu, the so-called young geniuses of the Gu clan were nothing. The reputation of this demon general was not just an empty name. The 3 elders present were also a little absent-minded because of the 8 stars. A moment later, they recovered. Their stern faces also revealed rare smiles. Gu Yarrow, one of the 4 great generals of Black Submerged Army, 8-star Do Zun. Grade 8 bloodline. Bestow a purple gold clan tattoo. The cry had just sounded when the purple gold dragon pen in the hand of the elder erupted in an extremely bright intense glow. Rich energy gathered at the tip of the pen. After which, his hand danced. A mysterious clan tattoo swiftly appeared on Gu Yarrow's forehead. Drawing this purple gold clan tattoo seemed to exhaust one's do chi. Hence, some perspiration appeared on the forehead of this elder after the last line was drawn. He exhaled a long breath of air, stopped his hand, and placed the pen down. The bright light on the tip of the pen finally began to slowly weaken. After the Gu clan's elder's hand left, a lifelike purple gold clan tattoo appeared on Gu Yarrow's forehead. The shade of this purple gold clan tattoo was clearly many times deeper than the purple gold clan tattoo on Gu Yuzhen earlier. This clan tattoo was something that Gu Yarrow had relied on his strength to obtain. It wasn't something that Gu Yuzhen, who required an exception to obtain the purple gold clan tattoo, could compare with. The clan tattoo has been formed. Gu Yarrow, please leave. Next, that elder smiled when the clan tattoo was created. After which, he waved his hand and spoke. Wait. The words of this elder had yet to appear when the indifferent-looking Gu Yarrow suddenly cried out. Huh! The 3 elders were startled when they heard his cry. They immediately frowned and asked, what is it? Do I possess the qualification to challenge anyone during the adult ceremony? Gu Yarrow spoke in a faint dark voice in front of the eyes of many people. Xiao Yang, who was seated, immediately clenched his hand when these words entered his ear. Whatever might come would ultimately come. The faces of quite a number of people in the stadium changed a little when they heard Gu Yarrow's words, especially for Ling Quan, Lin Xiu and the rest. Their gloating eyes landed on Xiao Yang almost instantly. Clearly, they had already expected this. The 3 elders hesitated for a moment before nodding. They said, according to the rules, you can choose to challenge any member of the clan during the adult ceremony. However, if the other party is not a member of the clan, the agreement of the other party is needed before you can spar. Gu Yarrow slowly nodded. After which, he turned around. His black and white hair was exceptionally glaring. At this moment, his bone-chilling eyes locked onto a skinny young man a short distance away. He indifferently said, you should be aware that I am targeting you. If you wish to laugh at the Gu clan, then you should take out your genuine strength. Otherwise, the eyes that people will use to look at you will ultimately contain ridicule and pity. The current me is able to give you this opportunity. You can challenge me. Of course, whether you have enough courage is your problem. However, I hope that you will leave the Gu realm by yourself if you reject me. The rules of the adult ceremony allowed Gu Yarrow to challenge anyone. However, the way he put it was like he was attempting to get Xiao Yang to issue the challenge to him. A challenge was usually issued by someone below to someone above. Clearly, Gu Yarrow thought that the one who should issue the challenge was not him but Xiao Yang. Gu Yarrow's words had just sounded when the gazes of everyone present emitted a swoosh sound. Their gazes all paused on the skinny figure. The eyes of quite a number of people contained a gloating expression. Is he the disciple of the abandoned fellow from my Yarrow clan? Looks like he is really unlikable. However, Gu Yarrow has acted really quickly. Originally, I was thinking of sparing with this brat to let him to know that the so-called pill-gathering champion is merely a game for children. It is not worth even the slightest honor. A couple of figures were leaning lazily in a tall spot of the stadium. Among them, a man with a medicinal cauldron drawing on his forehead was looking at the skinny figure in the distance as he laughed. Relax, as long as he is able to survive Gu Yarrow's assault, you will still have a chance. What skill do these alchemists from outside have? A scantily clad demonic lady with a sexy figure curled her mouth and spoke. From the special symbol between her brows, she was also a member of the so-called Yarrow clan. Haha, this seems quite difficult. There are very few people who can remain alive in the hands of Jiyu Yaro. Kai, this fellow dares to snatch my target. Hopefully that brat will be able to endure a little longer. Otherwise, it will really be boring. A figure in one corner, who was wrapped in a black robe, raised his head and revealed an exceptionally pale young face. He was surprisingly the member of the Hun clan who Xiao Yang had come into contact with back then, Hun Ya. As expected, there is really someone who cannot control himself and wishes to attack. Hua Xian looked at the figure a short distance away from within the special area. He sighed softly as he spoke. Moreover, the one who is attacking is Jiyu Yaro. It looks like Xiao Yang will face a terrible fate. The red-clothed young lady with a veil over her face softly spoke. This fellow doesn't know how to come to the Jiyu clan after he is a little stronger. A 5-star Dozun might be a genius that is difficult to find in the Central Plains, but a genius of this level is commonplace in the Jiyu clan. The man with a gentle appearance nodded as he spoke. Hopefully he will be able to keep his life. Jiyu Yao. He is a guest. This request is too overboard. Zana clenched her hand. At this moment, she involuntarily stood up. Her brows were knit as she cried out in a deep voice. The rules are like this. It is precisely because he is a guest that I have given him the qualification to challenge me. He can reject this qualification. Jiyu Yaro's eyes stared at Xiao Yang as he slowly said. As long as he says no, this challenge can be skip. Zana's face was ice cold. How could she not understand that if Xiao Yang were to reject his challenge, he would immediately be cast aside by the Jiyu clan which valued warriors? Avoiding a battle was an extremely humiliating action when viewed by the Jiyu clan. Young miss, there is nothing wrong with the way Jiyu Yaro has acted. Everything is determined by whether the person involved is willing. The white-haired elder Jiyu Shan spoke faintly at this moment. Zana clenched her hand. She was reprimanding herself within her heart. If she had been aware that Xiao Yang would suffer so many obstructions when he came to the Jiyu clan, she would not have agreed with Xiao Yang's request to come to the Jiyu clan. The smile on Mang Tiankai's face was withdrawn because of this strange atmosphere. He rotated the ring on his finger and turned his head to look at the young man, who had remained quiet. He was unable to provide much help when it came to such a matter. Moreover, he also wanted to see if this person, whom Su Qian had praised as the most outstanding student, would be able to deal with this situation where he could neither advance nor withdraw. Xiao Yang, I have already said what I have to say. No one can take your place today. Give me an answer. Tell me whether you are going to fight or withdraw. Jiyu Yaro stared at Xiao Yang. His indifferent voice resounded over this entire stadium. Xiao Yang, who had shut his eyes in front of the countless number of eyes, slowly opened them. After which, he slowly stood up. He smiled and softly said, since General Jiyu Yaro is being this aggressive, then Xiao Yang shall represent the Xiao clan and accept this match. Ever since Xiao Yang had entered the Jiyu realm, he was aware that this match was unavoidable. Since it was unavoidable, all he could do was fight. Advance and fight or withdraw and seek humiliation. The current Xiao Yang could fight but not be humiliated. Even if his opponent was this ultimate genius of the Jiyu clan, Xiao Yang. The little fairy doctor knit her brows. She could sense just how frightening Jiyu Yaro was. Although she was confident in Xiao Yang, she also understood that this Jiyu Yaro was definitely a strong opponent. There are some things that cannot be avoided. Xiao Yang smiled at her. After which, he turned his head to look at the ice-cold face of Zana beside him, who was biting her lower red lip with the back of her teeth. He smiled and said, it's fine, even if he did not take the initiative to stir this fight, I would have stepped forward and revealed my strength to the Jiyu clan. Only then will I be able to block the mouths of some people. Zana nodded a little. However, her eyes became colder as she glared at Jiyu Yao. Xiao Yang had endured much ridicule within the Jiyu clan during these few days because of her. Today, he was forced to step forward and spar with another. Even with her character, all of this caused her to involuntarily feel a fury within her heart. Little fellow is really quite brave. Try to be careful. The old me will intervene to help you if a poor situation occurs. Mang Tiankai fondled his beard and laughed. Since you are a student of my Jiannan Academy, you are partially a disciple of the old me. I will definitely not watch you die in this Jiyu realm. From the looks of Mang Tiankai's appearance, it appeared that he was quite pleased that Xiao Yang could receive Jiyu Yao's challenge. It was not frightening for one to be weaker. What was frightening was that one did not possess the courage to fight with another. Without this courage, how would one be able to overcome the many obstructions during one's dochi training? I will thank Headmaster then. Xiao Yang smiled. After which, he ceased uttering any unnecessary words. His toes pressed on the ground, and his body rushed into the spacious square in front of a countless number of eyes. After which, he stood across from Jiyu Yaro. The icy-cold face of Jiyu Yaro lifted into a vague arc when he looked at Xiao Yang standing a short distance away from him. He said, regardless of your strength, your acceptance has already exceeded my expectations. Xiao Yang glanced at this ultimate renowned genius from the Jiyu clan. His glaring black-white hair caused him to appear somewhat strange for no reason. His body continued to release an icy aura that was like 10,000-year-old mysterious ice. This person appeared to have been cast from cold ice. A cold aura was emitted from deep within one's heart by just looking at him. You should be aware of the reason I have targeted you. Xiao Yang's brows twitched. He looked at Jiyu Yarrow and slowly replied, I am aware. However, it is useless. Jiyu Yarrow nodded. He was not surprised by this reply as he softly said, in that case, I can only kill you. The entire place suddenly turned icy-cold after Jiyu Yarrow's last word sounded. His black and white hair suddenly began to dance. Jiyu Yarrow's body also disappeared like a ghost in an instant. Xiao Yang's face was completely replaced by a solemnness the moment Jiyu Yarrow disappeared. His opponent this time around was even stronger than the 9th Tianzuan of the Hall of Souls. If he underestimated his opponent even a little, he would end up with a miserable ending. Xiao Yang's heart was clearly aware that no one within the Jiyu clan who would support Sun and him if he was defeated by Jiyu Yarrow today. Hence, he could not lose this fight. I have walked from the Jioma Empire. During these 10 years, I have roamed the continent and met a countless number of enemies. I have lingered at death's gate a countless number of times. The effort I have put in is many times greater than a genius like you. I do not care about the Do Di bloodline. However, you have to be prepared to pay a bloody price if you wish to kill me. Xiao Yang suddenly clenched his hand. The Do Qi within his body surged out without holding back. The bones all over his body emitted a wave of crackling sounds as the Do Qi surged. His vast and mighty Do Qi was accompanied by a hot wind, causing the icy-cold temperature in the sky to swiftly rise. At the same time, a cold cry that was filled with an endless perseverance erupted from Xiao Yang's mouth. The roaming of these years had caused Xiao Yang's character to remain as calm as a rock. He would be able to adjust to the most perfect state regardless of what challenge he faced. This was a talent that the many years of roaming had blessed him with. Bang! A vast and might Do Qi swiftly agglomerated in Xiao Yang's right fist as his cry sounded. After which, his hand shook strangely. An unusually powerful force suddenly smashed toward the space in front of him without any fancy maneuvers. His right hand violently punched toward the empty space. Just when it was about to strike, a long hand was suddenly extended from the empty space. After which, it was accompanied by a sharp blade force that slammed into Xiao Yang's right fist in a lightning-like fashion. A frightening energy ripple immediately surged when the two made contact. Numerous crack lines swiftly spread from point of contact. Powerful forces swept apart and shattered some stone fragments in the square to dust. The eyes of those 3 Jiyu clan elders present flickered when they saw such an intense exchange. Their bodies moved, and they rushed high into the sky. Their hands formed some seals before using their Do Qi to isolate this square. A muffled snort was emitted from Xiao Yang's mouth as he stood in the square. His toes pressed on the ground and his body swiftly pulled back. He glanced at his right fist. At this moment, 5 claw scars had appeared on it. Fresh blood was seeping out of it, dyeing his hand a bloody mess in the blink of an eye. Clearly, Xiao Yang had suffered a small loss during this exchange. With his 5-star Dozun strength, he was unable to reach to contend with the 8-star Jiyu Yarrow head-on. Open mountain seal. Jiyu Yarrow coldly laughed. The seal formed by his hands changed and a fierce handprint erupted toward Xiao Yang. The silver glow under Xiao Yang's feet flickered when faced with Jiyu Yarrow's sharp attack. His body avoided the attack. Open mountain seal, sea flipping seal. Jiyu Yarrow's cold laugh became even more intense after his palm missed. The seal on his hand danced, forming many after-images. Numerous powerful hand seals continued to fly out and smashed towards Xiao Yang from all directions. The God Seal skill had been practiced by Jiyu Yarrow until it reached a peak. Adding his incomparably powerful Do Qi, he was able to use it with ease. He did not experience the slightest difficulty. Skyfire 3 mysterious change. First change. Second change. Third change. Xiao Yang's expression became grave as he faced the energy palm imprint that rushed over from all directions. The Skyfire 3 mysterious change was unleashed to its limits with just a thought. The Do Qi within his body soared at this moment. 6-joint body flowing ruler. Xiao Yang clenched his hand. The dark black heavy Shen ruler flashed and appeared. Dense ruler images appeared one after another. Within a short instant, the area 100 feet around Xiao Yang had been filled by ruler images. Bang bang bang. The many energy palm imprints violently struck the heavy ruler's defenses. It appeared to have triggered a continuous chain of explosions. Powerful energy ripples spread apart like floodwater. They shook the square until it began tremble. Everyone around the stadium was watching the extremely intense battle that had erupted in an instant. An excitement vaguely rose within their eyes. Many people wanted to know just what kind of ending would face Xiao Yang, who was considered the top among the younger generation within the Central Plains, since he had met this genius from the Jiyu clan. Bang! Unusually loud explosions resounded within the battleground. A figure flew back through the air, after which, he staggered back 2 steps before landing on the ground. Flame-splitting tsunami, Xiao Yang stabilized his body. His expression still remained solemn. The heavy ruler in his hand was suddenly hacked down. A 1,000-foot-large fire pillar suddenly shot from the tip of the ruler. Finally, it rushed toward Jiyu Yarrow in the distance in a lightning-like fashion. A petty skill. What use is a Do skill of such strength? Jiyu Yarrow merely laughed when faced with the fire pillar's great momentum. He clenched his hand and a dense white ice erupted from his body. His hand was completely covered by the mysterious ice a moment later. Shatter. His mysterious ice hand suddenly struck forward. It violently smashed into the fire pillar in front of many eyes. The powerful force shattered it. This is yours. Jiyu Yarrow had just cried out coldly after having shattered the fire pillar with a punch when his eyes suddenly became cold. He saw a rapidly rotating 3-colored fire lotus within the fire glow. This lotus continued to shoot toward him. He could sense a slight aura of destruction within it. Explode. Xiao Yang's face was ice cold. His hand seal changed and a sharp cry sounded. That 3-colored fire lotus swelled with a speed that could not be clearly seen by the naked eye. An instant later, a frightening fire storm swept across the sky. Bang! A 1,000-foot-large explosion instantly appeared in the square in front of the many eyes when the fire storm swept apart. Even the Do Chi barrier surrounding the square was shaken until it fluctuated. What a powerful Do skill! This little fellow is really cunning. He actually hid such a powerful thing under the fire glow, causing Jiyu Yarrow to underestimate it. He managed to catch him off guard. Quite a number of experts nodded quietly as they watched the fire storm spreading over the square. The battle experience that had been honed through fighting a countless number of experts had indeed given Xiao Yang a chance. Xiao Yang watched the fire storm spread in the square. The seriousness on his face was not reduced. A 3-colored fire lotus might be strong, but if Jiyu Yarrow could be finished off this easily, he wouldn't be qualified to be one of the 4 great generals of the Jiyu clan. Bang! This thought had just appeared in Xiao Yang's heart when the firestorm suddenly trembled. A wave of extremely cold aura slowly spread. At the same time, a monstrous Do Chi surged in all directions like the ocean. They roared over in a turbulent fashion. You have experienced many difficulties, but so what? I possess the bloodline of a Do Di and practice the true teachings of the Jiyu clan. My level far surpasses you. Just what qualification do you, as a descendant of the declined Xiao clan, have to fight me? A bone-chilling cry suddenly exploded while the monstrous Do Chi was roaring across the sky. This caused Xiao Yang's expression to slowly turn gloomy. This video will end here.